Inline frames. An iframe, or an inline frame, is an element that gives us the power to show another web page on our page, and it doesn't even have to be our own page. The iframe element requires a source to be input. Along with that, it has a lot of different attributes that we'll cover as well. The inline frame source is the same thing as an images source. We use the src attribute to target our page that we want framed. So if you look here, we opened our iframe, closed our iframe, and we have our source here. Before we continue, I must inform you that some websites do not allow framing. Sites such as google.com and facebook.com won't work properly, sometimes not even at all. Often, with websites as large as these, they get a lot of web developers trying to use their website in a frame, and they just don't allow it to show up or work at all. Next, we have our frame border. The frame border is similar to the border attribute in images or tables, and we can control whether or not a border is displayed. The frame border attribute only supports two answers though, 1 or 0, where 1 is on or yes, and 0 is off or no. So here we set frame border is equal to 0, and there's now no border around it at all. Setting the height and width is very easy with an iframe as well. All we have to do is simply apply the width or the height attributes, and both pixels and percent are supported. Here we have a height of 200. By default, that means 200 pixels. And we have a width of 90%. If we specify a percent, then it will use percent. If we do not specify a percent, the browser automatically assumes that you're using pixels. We can also change whether or not the scroll bars show up. By using the scrolling attribute, we can set it to yes, no, or auto, where yes means the bars will always show up, no means the bars will never show up, and auto means that your browser will automatically detect whether it needs to show them or not. So if you look at the frame right here, with all of our code applied to it, we have a frame border turned on, so it means that there is a border around it. Our height is 200 pixels, our width is 90 pixels, and we do not allow scroll bars. So as you see, there are no more scroll bars. Our source is the website you are currently on. Now, iframes aren't too popular anymore, and I think that's just because there are so many scripts, and it's usually JavaScript, that allow websites to stop functioning while they're in your frame. There's also JavaScripts out there that sense whether or not the site is in a frame, and if it is in a frame, it will try to break out of it and reload the page for you. Now again, it's not too popular, it's not too useful, but it is a cool one to work with.